Leave it to Jim Irsay to make a Saturday night totally entertaining. Look, Jim Irsay, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts, has come out and said Jonathan Taylor is not getting traded now, and he's not getting traded in October. On top of that, we are not, this is Jim Irsay, giving Jonathan Taylor a contract extension. Hey, this is exactly how you want to treat one of the top 3 running backs in the National Football League if you're an owner, right? Look, I'm sure the Roger Goodell, Jim Irsay has said something again. Hotline went off big time this afternoon when Jim Irsay started speaking. All right, my friends, that is today's topic on the House of Takes. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe to the show. And of course, like this video, I'm Dave DeBaugh. On to the content we go. Okay, we're going to play the Jim Irsay video for you here in just a second. And just trust me, it's priceless, as all Jim Irsay videos are. But I did want to cover just a couple quick things before we get into the video, and then we'll come back after the video for a minute or so. Now, Jonathan Taylor, a year ago at this time, best running back in the National Football League, and he backed it up on the field the year before with 1,800 plus yards. Last season, Jonathan Taylor, who was in his second year in the National Football League, or starting his third year in the National Football League, was told that his starting quarterback was going to be somebody that should have been in the broadcast booth 2 years earlier in one Matt Ryan, somebody who was clearly done. He had skied all the way down the backside of Career Mountain and was just sitting there waiting for somebody to finally put him out of his misery, not the Indianapolis Colts, who thought it was a good idea to bring in Matt Ryan as a starting quarterback. So the Indianapolis Colts basically had no offense at all unless it went through Jonathan Taylor. Now, we know Jonathan Taylor got hurt as well and only played in 11 games last season. Still, if you look at what he did the year before and the year before that, Jonathan Taylor is one of the top 3 running backs in the National Football League, despite his injury coming into this particular season. And the Indianapolis Colts did what last year? They said, well, not only that, we're going to get rid of Frank Reich, the head coach, and we're going to replace him with ESPN's very own, and we should have known ESPN was in trouble at this point. When Jeff Saturday saw the writing on the wall at ESPN, like 10 months ahead of everybody, and said, I think I'd rather just be a head coach in the National Football League if it pops up, is exactly what happened. And Jeff Saturday went from being an analyst on television to actually being a head coach, and we all know how that turned out. Look, I like Jeff Saturday. Nothing against Jeff Saturday. He did an admirable job trying to deal with an extremely bad situation. But if you're Jonathan Taylor and they give you Matt Ryan, then they give you, we're firing Frank Reich. Then they say, we're bringing in Jeff Saturday. And by the way, the entire offense basically has to run through you. Oh, and by the way, we're not willing to give you a contract extension at the end of the year. And by the way, we are not willing to give you a trade request. What would you do if you're Jonathan Taylor? All right, on to the Jim Irsay priceless video we go.
Oh, it was great. You know, I think we just talked and you know, really, as you guys probably would not be surprised, you know, it's something that's gonna stay between us, Bob. You know, but it was just a good conversation, and you know, again, you know, we're just you know, hopeful and going forward. You know, looking forward to a great season, hoping Jonathan's a big part of that, and so I think we had a good conversation, and you know, like I said, onward we go, and we're looking forward to you know, really having you know, hopefully Jonathan there, excited and healthy with you know, I think everyone remembers, you know, Marshall Falk Peyton Manning, Peyton's rookie year, and Marshall had got the magic back, no question, and really helped Peyton have a great rookie year, even though it was 3-13. You know, the flashes were there, and Marshall was a big part of that. So again, it was a good conversation, and you know, I'm hopeful as we go forward.
Is there a contract extension possible or not?
Will somebody please, I'm serious, somebody get Jim Irsay on a phone call, please. And please tell him that the Peyton Manning era in Indianapolis is over. It's over. It's been over for quite some time. Marshall Faulk is not coming out of retirement to step in for Jonathan Taylor if he decides to hold out or hold in, just refuses to go on the field. Look, the National Football League has turned in the wrong direction, in my opinion, when it comes to the use of running backs. That is the unfair use of running backs. The NFL is set up in a way where a quarterback over the years gets stronger and stronger and stronger, whereas running backs sort of have the opposite effect. So a running back might be at his peak in year 3 or year 4 of his career and not have a year 15 like a great quarterback in the National Football League. So the pay structure for these running backs basically means they need to get paid. And that second contract that a running back signs, if they're able to even get to that point in the National Football League, is the most important contract that a running back can have, is that second contract. Not that rookie contract, but the contract after that. That's the contract that a running back can actually make some level of real money as it compares to some of the other positions, because their careers end way quicker than the other players or the other positions in the National Football League. As for Jim Irsay, he's just bumbling. He's just bumbling left and right. And I'm sure the National Football League and a bunch of the other owners just are just waiting for the opportunity for Jim Irsay to cross that line a little bit too far. And then they'll be looking for a new owner in Indianapolis. It is, as you all know, going to happen at some point. Jim Irsay will go too far. Now, I know he holds a lot of power in the National Football League today, but the power can quickly be ripped away by Jim Irsay if he doesn't handle himself correctly on and off the field. And I think in the spirit of doing the right thing for your employees, if you're a boss, you really want to take care of your employees, don't you? I don't know. I think maybe what Jim Irsay needs to do is go out and watch the Barbie movie. See the undertones that the Barbie movie talks about, and then maybe Jim Irsay would have a heart, because he has no heart when it comes to one of the best running backs in the National Football League, and one Jonathan Taylor. Look, either pay him, Jim, or trade him. But don't do what you're doing to Jonathan Taylor this particular year, which is probably going to be the Indianapolis Colts running him into the ground, so much so that he won't have any value coming out of the upcoming season. All right, I know that's harsh, but that is, if you will, the reality of the National Football League today. All right, that is it for today's House of Takes. If you have a chance, go ahead and subscribe to this show for the House of Takes pod. I'm Dave DeBaugh, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day.